Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the My Tribe podcast. We're here for another solo episode, and I want to talk about a couple things today. I want to talk about the idea that just came to me, which I was blessed to be bestowed upon, 12 days of vulnerability. I seen somebody celebrating the 12 days of Christmas, and I was like, okay, yeah, that's cool, or 12 days of giving. This is, maybe this is my version of 12 days of giving. Maybe this is what that is. So, what I want to do is express vulnerability for 12 days straight up into Christmas. And I've done 2, and I'm going to keep going. And this is important to me because I had a friend of mine come to me the other day at a holiday party and say, wow, man, it's pretty amazing what you're doing. It's wild, and, I wish I could do that. I wish I could express myself in the way that you do, but I'm worried about being judged by my parents or my friends. And that's a very real thing. It's a very real, reasonable feeling to understand what that individual was going through. And it breaks my heart to hear that, number one. But it breaks my heart because I can resonate with it. I know I was very much at a place previously where I was nervous and scared to put myself out there. And I think it was rooted in the fear of judgment. I think it was rooted in what people might think. And, ooh, my life's going to be out there. So what? So what? I'm here to do that, to put myself out there in an uncomfortable way so that I can end up showing like, yo, we're still breathing, we're still living, we're still here, we're okay. That's the beauty of what I get to do every single day when I turn this thing on and sit here and talk to you guys. So I get to share vulnerable truth. I get to share vulnerable share. I get to share a vulnerable moment of my life where, yeah, maybe I jumped in the ice bath and I look like a little bitch. Maybe I am sitting here with my little cat who I love, right, Uno? And showing love. Maybe that's a vulnerable moment that I might not always share on social media, but I guess now I want to. I love the challenge. I love taking the uncomfortability of it, of something that I've once feared and still do fear, still do deal with to this day. And facing it and taking it by the neck and choking it the fuck out. It's a beautiful thing. Very blessed. And, I resonate with my friend there in terms of the judgment of parents. And not that my parents were judgmental. I love my parents so much. They've been dramatically supportive through this dramatic life change, and I love them so much. I got a call the other day that my dad was, a rainy day, he was listening to the podcast, and he was nervous about me stressing out, worrying, and being in part of the climb and the fight. And I'm like, yeah, Dad, I understand. No, I get that. But I'd rather fight now than fight now for what I want than to be struggling in a comfort zone for a long period of time to not get what I want. And, he understood it, and then, he hung up, I hung up, and I'm sitting there and I'm listening to a song. It's called Born to Win by Five for Fighting. And the chorus goes, you were born to walk so you can learn to run. You get knocked down so you can get back up. And there's more and more and more, so I call him back, and I'm like, yo, guess what? Your worry, your concern, it's all your fault. You've given me the keys and the tools to be successful in this journey. Otherwise, I wouldn't feel comfortable getting on this journey. So, in essence, you're very responsible for your own worry, concern. If I wasn't blessed with a father who knew how to work a room, who could literally command the masses, who wasn't a Hall of Fame linebacker, and a mom with a heart of gold, to be able to lead but also be empathetic and to care. If I wasn't blessed with those two amazing parents, I wouldn't feel confident enough and have the same amount of self-belief that I do to be able to be on this journey. So, Mom, Dad, I love you, I'm sorry, but it's very much your fault. In the best way possible. I love you. But that leads me to where I want to go here, in that the mastering my craft, mastering what I am doing, deciding on what I'm doing, and committing to it. And this is a part of it. And this is actually very much a part of it. And what I would say 90% of you have no idea what this is. And what this is actually the bottom half of a lacrosse stick. This is the butt end, as they call it. This is the halfway point where it's taped where my hand would be. And then the rest will go up to be a lacrosse stick. This is a green stick that I had throughout my high school career. It was a St. Patrick's Day collection, specially dropped, that I spent all of my, what do they call it, money that I earned. I want to say allowance. I didn't have an allowance as a kid. My parents blessed me, but I didn't have an allowance. I worked every single summer, so I had enough money so I can buy my favorite lacrosse stick. And with this stick, I put in hours and hours of work. I put in reps and reps and reps, so that, in lacrosse, just similar to baseball, if you're a righty, you throw a righty, right? You throw a righty. And in lacrosse, if you have a right hand, good, great. If you have two hands, that makes you double the trouble. If you're a righty, all I gotta do is play you on one side and I can shut you down. If you have two hands, especially at the high school level in New York City and the Bronx, that makes you an elevated player. So I'm reading this book called Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell, and he's talking about how it takes 10,000 hours to master a skill. And the first skill that comes to mind when I think of this is lacrosse. It is when I would go out and practice would start at 3 o'clock. We'd get out at like 2:15 out of school. By 2:30, I was on that field 30 minutes every day with a bag of balls, and I pick it up, run left, shoot. Pick it up, run right, shoot. Pick it up, run left, shoot. Everything was on the run. Everything was an in-game scenario. Every rep was a real rep. And I want to take the same mentality that I took to lacrosse, to the love that I had for that sport, to the love and the passion of my journey now. So I'm not sure what that looks like other than explaining that right here, right now. I want to make sure that I am being my most honest and truthful self and in the most blessed way possible, so that I can live a truthful and authentic life to inspire others that may be in fear of judgment, may be in fear of vulnerability, that they can actually do it. They can actually know within themselves, okay, this guy did it. He's still alive. I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be fine. And there have been people like that before me, that came before me. And I see and I look up to and say, wow, all right, homie's got a podcast. Homie's got an app. Homie's got, a great book of personal training clients. Homie's got an event going on. These people exist. So that shows me that there's a path forward. What did they do to get from here to here? What does this look like? And what kind of uncomfortabilities do I have to overcome along the way? I'm starting to like this little prop. I like the visuals of it. It actually looks really good. It feels good. But I hope you guys are enjoying it as well. Also, what I'm going to be doing is we're going to be building a bit of a backdrop here, other than just this little, just my flag. Love my flag, but I want to build a backdrop worth of memories, worth of things that are meaningful to me. And as we build it, I want to talk about them. So this is going to be the first one, because this is the essence of where I learned what hard work towards something meaningful, towards something that I truly love. This is the the symbolization of that. I'm very blessed to still have this. It's broken in half because I was playing in college. Somebody checked me and broke it in half. And I have the two halves, but this is the half that I dug up today. And I'm very blessed to have a part of my life, to be a part of my journey. And I'm excited to share this with you and to share it with you in my backdrop that I'm going to be building going forward. And also, welcome to the studio. Welcome to the podcast studio, guys. This is it. This was the vision when I heard I was going to be getting a 2-bedroom. When I heard I was going to be moving into a 2-bedroom, I said, you know what? One room is going to be where I sleep, where I sleep, in my bedroom. The other room, instead of putting a bed in it, I want to make a podcast studio and office. And that's what I've been blessed to do here. I had an amazing guest here last week, and that episode's going to be dropping on Sunday. So make sure you guys are tuned in for that. Make sure you're subscribed for that. Mr. Niall Funter, he was a great guy. Frontier. I think it's Frontier, Niall Frontier. And man, he talks about community. He talks about networking. He talks about the amazing support from his parents. And maybe I think that subconsciously inspired a little bit of today's podcast. But regardless, thank you all so much for tuning in. If you know a friend that is either in fear of judgment and is nervous about vulnerability, feel free to share this with them. This has been such a blessing, such an honor, and I am by no way any kind of courageous hero, anything of that nature. I'm not that. I'm not claiming to be anything I'm not. I'm just claiming to be blessed and authentic enough to share myself, share my story. Thank you. Thank you all very much. Say goodbye.